See that in the middle of the screen? That is what happens when you're uploading on Australian internet and have KAVC on, or however you meant to say it. You can see Minmus getting closer. That will now alert us when we're an hour away, when we're 0 minutes away from Minmus. Only one other Kerbal has been this far into space. But they did make it back, so you can feel safe.
Okay, so now it's time for just a little quick post-narration over Valentina's descent towards Minmus, because you don't need to sit through that, at least not at live speed. So now she heads in a non-impact trajectory, which is still not something you'd get because I haven't gotten up to that point yet, but it's at least a look closer to what actually I'm making a joke about there. But I decided to land on those flats that I happen to perform orbital insertion right above, and also perform some science and transmit it back, I think is what I do here. Oh no, I just shut the antenna. Okay, now I'm like getting science and stuff. Yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to do right now, but anyway, we're gonna go to live for the actual landing.
5 kilometers above the surface, and we're going to kill a bit of velocity, drop that down to about 30 meters per second, then we'll continue forward back down. Oh, we have the physical time accelerate now, do we? Deploy the landing legs. I've just gone silent over this landing. Whoa, I accidentally pressed Z. Or Z. I accidentally pressed Z. Slowly does this.
Now, you don't actually need to see me messing around on the surface, at least not in live speed, so I'm just gonna speed over this. As you can see, I'm getting a comms connection with the comms network that we successfully managed to put up last episode. I'm surprised that was actually so successful. But now we're just getting all the science we can before Valentina goes on EVA and takes the first steps on Minmus. And look at her jumping around in the low gravity. It's a pretty successful mission. So she plants a flag asking us to jump a world record. Technically it isn't a world record because she's not on the... she's not on Kerbal. That would be a Minmus record. Technicalities. I probably should look up what the world record for the world's highest jump is, but I'm not going to be bothered to look that up. If it's 10 meters though, then if it's under 10 meters, then that would be funny. But anyway, as you can see, she just gets back out and bumps her head and runs around a bit, because running around on the surface is fun. Those 10-meter jumps though, just 10-meter jumps. That is how high a single Kerbal can jump on Minmus. And all Kerbals can jump the exact same height, because RIP Kerbal diversity. Every Kerbal is every male Kerbal is exactly the same apart from their first name, and every female Kerbal is exactly the same apart from their first name. In fact, the only difference is how they look. They act exactly the same. Oh, and they have professions as well. I missed that, because you have the professions. And oh wait, and Gene and Werner von Kermer, like the people who give you the tutorials and appear in the science archives and mission control, don't they look different? Why are those two the only different looking Kerbals? That's actually an interesting thing. Why are there only two different Kerbals? But anyway, back to Valentina. She gets into orbit, but there's a bit of an issue. I kind of can't select it, so yeah. Damn it. I need time here to explain stuff, so I'm just gonna do it here. I couldn't place a maneuver node down, so I just left Valentina in orbit for a day. Now I'm just gonna go cheat some science, basically. There we go. Now you can see me go cheat some science.
Now we can get some free science for this mission. Observe mystery, crew report, UVA. I already have that. Now, I get on the surface, EVA report, data, take surface sample, keep the data, get up, cover vessel. Whoa.
And so we have a new mission, a mission to the moon. That's all it is. A third moon landing that you don't need to see the launch of. You've seen it plenty of times before, so just skip to the translunar injection or mooner injection, because it's not our moon, it's the Kerbal's moon, which is spelled M-U-N, but the dots above the U I think I meant to make it be pronounced as an oo sound, so it's pronounced moon. I don't know. Confusing naming. That's all it is. But anyway, I don't know why I've just stopped here. Oh yeah, I was doing stuff to do with, pardon me, the comms network. I just had lunch, so yeah. But anyway, I'm about to get into the moon sphere of influence when it's at the same time it's Valentina is going to return home. So I set up her burn and get ready to activate that, because it won't be, because we've got about an hour until the lunar sphere of influence change, or lunar sphere of influence change. So Valentina has plenty of time to leave Minmus, except the two of them are going to happen at like the exact same time. Valentina's sphere of influence change, and who is it? I think it's Jeula, isn't it? Jeula's sphere of influence change. The two of them are happening at pretty much the same time, which is actually the interesting bit. So Valentina's periaps alarm is set, and Jeula's is. So we go back to Valentina and set periaps alarm, so now Jeula is free to land without having to worry about Valentina doing stuff at pretty much the same time. Just had some fun juggling rockets there. But anyway, Jeula just comes in for the in close, gets Basically, this is just your normal landing burn. In fact, I've skipped over most of this. The main point of this mission, though, is I just unlocked the ability to do surface samples, as you would have noticed in that little clip of me cheating to do science. But, pardon me, at this point is when I realized I've made a mistake. I thought I was heading in the wrong direction, but it's an easily remedied mistake. But anyway, yeah, I've upgraded the research and development center now, so I can take surface samples. And the first surface sample I actually ever took was of the runway. So just grab a bit of a dirt that happened to be the runway, because I haven't used the space plane hangar at all. I don't know if I ever will. I might make a space shuttle eventually, but not yet, because I don't know. Maybe that'll be one of the projects I do at the point I'm up to, because I have got like a lot of time to kill where I'm up to in this series, so who knows, there might be a space shuttle coming up in the double digits, but shouldn't come out in the single digits. But anyway, as you can see, Jeula is nearly touchdown. So you don't need to see any of me mucking around on the surface. Took a surface sample, planted a flag that says something like "We bring rocks back this time," and head off. That's all that happened. So we're getting ready to return to Kerbal, because it just so happens I'm in the perfect position to where my apoapse, where I'd normally enter orbit, is actually in the positions where I can just go straight back to Kerbal. I don't think I realized that at first, but I realized it later, because I start the burn, complete it, and then I realize where I am and just continue it. So yeah, it actually worked out pretty well in the end. But I get my perieps down to 30 kilometers and just skip the trip back to Jeula re-entering. If you haven't noticed, I've just like completely not summarized, just showed this mission to the moon in like a few seconds. But as Jeula falls back down, we will prepare for a new mission. A space station will be launched very soon. Just the main sail engine pushing us. And you don't have to watch the rest of the launch in live speed anymore, because that was kind of getting a bit boring. But I don't know if I fully explained. Oh yeah, I did say in the previous post narration that I did a couple hours ago that this is a space station. So, okay, just refreshing myself on what I said, because I kind of have taken a break between the third and fourth post-narration. I don't do these all in one fell swoop most of the time. I think I did with episode 6 though. I don't fully remember, but hey. This is the space station, and I'm aiming to put it in a 150 kilometer orbit, which I fail at, by the way, and ends up in a 160 kilometer orbit. Spoilers. But this space station isn't actually really the best designed one, because I didn't have a whole bunch of parts that I really needed to do it. I mean, look at all those solar panels. Those solar panels are probably overkill, but they're there. They are there. Anyway, this is just boring. I don't know why I'm showing this. Anyway, as you can see, we are about to enter orbit. I seriously need a topic to talk about. I need a topic, because sometimes I have nothing to talk about, and I only ever do one take of these post narrations, because I don't really want to spend forever trying to perfect the art of talking while watching your video back, because watching the same video over and over again just gets boring. But as you can see, I just actually adjusted the orbit to get it into the 160 kilometer orbit it actually ends in. So, yeah. I think it was the first post narration last episode that I had 2 takes at, because the first take, when you attached it to the video, I don't know what happened, but no matter what I did, and I said this last episode, it wouldn't match up. But anyway, there's the space station deployed, apart from the solar panels, which 8 times time acceleration me opening all the solar panels, because competitive solar panel opening. And there we go, all the solar panels are open. So, we need a new mission. This is taking Jebediah, Bill and Bob up to the space station. Sorry about that. But it's not a very complicated rocket. You start on the mainsail, go over to the skipper, then you have the poodle as the last stage. But I actually do get a really good approach on it, as you can see there. I can't catch how far away I am from it, but I know I do eventually get my approach at 2 or so kilometers. Yeah, I think it's 2 kilometers. After this burn is what I get it down to, 2 kilometers. Yes, but there we go now. We're just up to the command and service modules of this. And yeah. So we just head around, slowly catching up to the Interkerbal Space Station, as I christened it. Well, yes, that is its name, the Interkerbal Space Station, parodying the International Space Station. But as you can see, I am thrusting to try and put my retrograde vector on the exact away from the target. Eventually I just give up and start moving in with RCS. And prepare for the first ever docking of the series. Even though there's plenty more dockings I've done after this, and I mean plenty. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see the later episodes. In fact, I don't know how many episodes there are left up until I've recorded, because these videos, because I decided to change them from 20 minutes to half an hour around, it's meant that I get a lot more done in the footage. But you saw the space station dock, and the space station was set up, so Valentina is finally returning to Kerbal. So she just re-enters the atmosphere. Just really all that is happening currently. Nothing really interesting is happening. It's just re-entering. But yeah, I have gotten so far ahead in this. By changing these episodes to 30 minutes, who knows? I might finally catch up. And in fact, we're nearing 20 minutes into this video. Anyway, so random cut there because I had issues with the video pausing for some reason. But anyway, Valentina is re-entering the atmosphere for real this time after zipping back around, so you shouldn't need to re-enter again, should ya? Should ya? Well, the game says no, you need to re-enter another 2 times because it crashed. But you don't need to see me re-enter another 2 times, and Valentina just lands in a completely different area. But anyway, I don't know why it's gone black here. I have no idea what I did. Oh, there we go. And this is our next mission. We have a contract to put a satellite in orbit around Kerbal. So, we have this satellite known as the Saddle Tie, which is my failed attempt at spelling satellite, because I couldn't remember how to spell it for a little bit. Then I just named it Saddle Tie, because why not? It's the Saddle Tie. So, as you can see, that is the orbit we need to get into, right there. You'll get to... Oh, yep, flipping around. But you'll get to see this entire mission just sped up. Because why not? But look at that save, though. I just pulled that rocket out of a weird oscillation. Back up. So, yeah. Highly convenient. Anyway, with this flying back up to be done, I am just... Yeah, there's the Saddle Tie right in there. I needed to have Mystery U and observation telescopes attached to it. So, I have those attached, but basically this mission is actually really quick, because I get it really easily. I seriously just need topics to talk about. I need to have like a list of topics that I write down before doing post narrations and talk about each of the topics as they go up, instead of just sort of talking and hoping the topics come to me naturally like I tend to do. Most of the commentary is me saying about how I have no topics to talk about. But as you can see, I actually went up to where it would hit the descending node, so I could perform one big maneuver that will put me in a very similar orbit to what I need to be. And it actually works surprisingly well. Because after correcting the inclination and adjusting the prograde, retrograde, radial and anti-radial stuff, we actually get a 400 meter per second burn that changes our orbit from this elliptical orbit to that really large other elliptical orbit. So going from elliptical to elliptical. But we perform it with this smaller engine we have attached here, and get a lunar encounter that we just like, nope, screw this, we're trying to get into that orbit. But this actually just gets into orbit and the contract is completed. When it says it's completed, there we go. So, you're probably having deja vu now. It's another rescue mission. We have a Kerbal stuck in low Kerbal orbit known as Rovey Kerman. He's an engineer who I have to go rescue after another game crash, of course. So, I get him on re-entry and the game crashes, so I'm just showing you the second attempt where the game doesn't crash on re-entry. Where I just sort of fly past him, fly back past him. But anyway, Rovey just has to get out and get in the capsule. Once he decides to actually get in the capsule. Anyway, come on, Rovey. So, Rovey then really just goes back home. This is just a really quick mission. I do actually get my astronaut corp filled up. Eventually, I get 12 Kerbals eventually. I don't know how many I have at this point, but I know there's still a few more Kerbals that I need to rescue. I mainly know that because of the fact of how I rescue one of them. Pardon me. And yeah, basically one of them's rescued in an interesting way that I know I haven't seen yet. And also, Rovey isn't the last Kerbal to be rescued. But anyway, Rovey returns back down, so we get ready to return to the last mission of the day. So, there was a lot of time in between the Saddle Tie and Roving mission, as well as the Roving mission and this mission, where I couldn't do anything because I didn't get any interesting contracts. This mission, what I'm doing with it isn't actually the contract. The contract is just to take that 2.5 meter fairing into a 200 kilometer orbit. But what I actually am doing with this mission is sending an interplanetary probe. It's not got a specific destination, it's just going to get into the orbit it needs to get into, and then just fly out into the solar orbit and staying there for a while. It does not reach anything, and I'm telling you that from the future, because by the time I've actually reached it, it's actually flown pretty close to a planet, but it didn't get grabbed by it. I saw it flying by the planet though. But anyway, yeah, you can also see in Kerbal alarm clock it says Interkerbal Space Station crew switch. Every 50 days I change out the crew in the Interkerbal Space Station. And in fact, Jebediah and Bill and Bob are gonna set a record in space, and spoiler alert, it's gonna get beaten by another 3 Kerbals later on. But then it's also gonna get even more smashed by some more Kerbals. That record hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen. I've started it already, but it's not gonna finish for a while. But anyway, the test flight is all I called this, because name creativity is just getting into the orbit required for the contract, which is that contract complete. And then what's the next thing you do? Fire up the engine, of course, and just go straight ahead. I've increased the time acceleration here so you can just see how quickly this actually happens. So as you can see, we're actually moving down. We've gone past Eve, and we're about to reach the orbit of the planet this nearly flew by. Honestly, this nearly flew by Moho. I can never get anything to visit Moho. Don't even try, I nearly visit Moho. Like, honestly, I got so annoyed when this nearly flew by Moho. If it actually flew by Moho, I'd be even more annoyed, because that'd lose me money in the end by not completing it with contracts. But it didn't, so, yeah. It takes forever, but as you can see, we do actually drop below Moho's orbit. We don't ever get into low space around the sun, but still, this thing just takes forever to go. It just won't stop going. But anyway, it eventually flies out into solar orbit, where it'll stay forever. Until next time, though, I will not... what am I even saying? That is going to do it for this episode, guys. See you next time. I don't know what I was saying with that outro.